Hey guys, what's up? So tonight we're going to be looking at the original Xbox One when compared to the recently newly launched Xbox One S. So let's get right to it. Now the first obvious noticeable difference between the Xbox One and the Xbox One S is the fact that it is 40% smaller. Also, another nice surprise you're going to realize between two systems is that with the original Xbox One, we have this big clunky car battery looking external power supply, which just adds that extra clunkiness to the console. But our cute little Xbox One S, while it is 40% smaller, also does not have an external clunky power supply. No. Do you know where it is? It's built in. So they've shrunk it by 40%, and they've also shoehorned the entire power supply in this thing. And one of the reasons it weighs 300 grams, because it does weigh a bit heavier than the Xbox One, is because it has the power supply, crammed in there as well. But that's great. So, no clunky power supply that you have to walk around with as an additional piece. And it's smaller. And as proof that I am telling the truth about the built-in power supply, as you can see, here is the power supply port, and all you need is just a simple plug cable, right? You just plug that in to here, and you just plug this into the wall. Nice. And yes, the plug assembly does come with the Xbox One S. Now, while the original Xbox One can only be put on a tabletop like this, like flat, right? It cannot be vertical or anything like that. The Xbox One S, however, can. It can actually stand like this, or it can also go vertically. What our good friends have done is they've given us this nice little base here that comes with the Xbox One S. And to install it, it's actually very simple. There are two little grooves at the bottom here, and then these little teeth just clip right into the side like that, and voila, we now have a vertically standing Xbox One S. This is very cool, and it comes in very handy, especially if depending on your use case, if you have like a very small tabletop and you don't have a lot of real estate to put a huge game console like this. You can stand up on its side, takes up less space on a tabletop, and yeah, it looks nice too. So that's another tick in the box for the Xbox One S. Sorry, Xbox One, I guess you still have to lie down. So one other small difference is when we look at the eject buttons on the Xbox One, the eject button is actually in line with the plane of the unit itself. And it's that little silver button there, and it's actually right on there with the disc player. And then when you look at the eject button on the Xbox One S, it's roughly in the same place, but it's on a small little button that actually comes out a little bit from the plane. It protrudes, so you can actually find the button easier. Yeah, it's circular. The button on the Xbox One, it's more of a little rectangular thing, and maybe a little bit harder to find, so I guess it's an improvement on the Xbox One S. Now, the Xbox One, the pair button, when you need to pair your device with your gamepad, it's right here on the side here on the side panel, and it took me quite a while when I first got my Xbox to find this button, because it's kind of like hidden there. But that's where it is on the Xbox One. That's the pair button, and that's the button that you use when you need to pair with your wireless controller. On the Xbox One S, the pair button's at the front on the right hand side, and it's right over here. Now let's get to the meat of the matter here. Let's look at the back of both of these devices. So I have the Xbox One S on top of the Xbox One so that I can cram all of the ports on one screen here. So the first thing I've noticed is that both of them do have two USB ports, which is good, and they're located here. They both have Ethernet ports, and they both have IR out ports as well. What they also do have is, of course, we talked about the power supply, right? So on the Xbox, you have the plug that would need to plug into an external power supply, whereas on the Xbox One S, you just have, you know, your AC in socket, right? Because you can plug this directly into the wall. They both have the Sony Philips digital interface format ports. In these ports, you can plug in like an optical cable, and this is where you can get high quality sound being transmitted over short distances, right? So they both have that optical S-PDIF port, which you can see right here on both devices. Now, if you guys know your Xboxes very well, you should have by now noticed that on the Xbox One S, there is one huge port that is now missing. And yes, it is the Connect port. They've actually replaced that. Apparently, Connect technology and the Connect, that Connect functionality is not getting very popular for the Xbox, so they've decided to remove that port from the Xbox One S. However, the good news is, if you still need to connect your Connect to the Xbox One S, you still can. What you need to do is connect it via a USB adapter. Now, the USB adapter does not come with the Xbox One S, but I'm assuming it will be sold separately. Looking at the layout of the Xbox One, what they've pretty much done is where the Connect port used to be, they've actually put the IR Blaster port in its place, right? And the good thing about the IR Blaster port is you can actually use the Xbox One S to control other peripherals in your house, like your cable set-top box, and any audio video devices like you have by your television set. And of course, you can turn on and off your TV set as well via that IR Blaster port. And to be honest, I mean, I have like a half a dozen remotes in my living room, right? One for the set-top box, one for the TV, one for the Xbox One, one for my other console, the PlayStation 4. Let me not say that too loud. But yes, I have lots of controllers, and the use of the IR port helps me to reduce all those remotes, and I can just use like one, right, and control everything. So that's pretty cool. Now, I left the HDMI ports for last, for a very good reason. So looking at at the back of both consoles, they both have HDMI in and HDMI out ports. But there's a huge difference between the HDMI ports on both systems. The original Xbox One comes with HDMI 1.4e version ports, right? And what that pretty much means is that it can output 4K video, which is good, but it's only at 30 hertz. Okay? And that's very important. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Now, on the Xbox One S, the version of HDMI ports is HDMI 2.0A. So it's a newer version of the HDMI port. What does that mean? It can give you true 4K video at 60 hertz. So the difference between both consoles is that they can both do 4K, but the Xbox One does it at 30 hertz while the Xbox One S does it at 60 hertz. So obviously when you're running very, very, very high-end games and video, 4K video, on the original Xbox One, you may get some issues, right? But with the Xbox One S, since it's HDMI 2.0A and it can support 4K video at a frequency of 60 hertz, you're not going to get any issues, which is great news. And that's, I think, one of the major differences between the two consoles, to be honest. So now we know there's a difference in the HDMI technology in both systems. I can now go on to say that the Xbox One S supports, the true 4K video streaming from sites like Netflix and Hulu and whatnot. And what's really cool? Our new Xbox One S has a true built-in 4K Ultra HD Blu Ray player, and it's built in, and you get that with the system. Now, what's really good about that is if you go online today and look for a standalone 4K Ultra HD Blu Ray player, you're going to find that they're not cheap. They're pretty expensive. Actually, they do cost a couple of $100. So the fact that you can get yours built in and it comes with the Xbox One S, that's a huge benefit as well. So for those of you who are tech savvy when it comes to TV and television technology and screens and picture quality, there is a technology called HDR, and that technology is supported by the Xbox One S. It's not supported by the Xbox One, so sorry about that, guys. And HDR, again, it stands for High Dynamic Range, and simply put, all it means is that it's a technology where when it comes to your images and your videos, right, you can actually get deeper blacks and brighter whites, so much greater, better contrast when it comes to images. And when it comes to the color palette, you get a greater range of color variations in the palette. And that pretty much means you get a better, a more accurate representation of real life images and colors on, using HDR technology. So with the Xbox One S, you do get that technology, which is good. And that comes in very handy when you have HDR compatible games that have that technology built in. You can actually see that, the imagery a bit better on the Xbox One S, and of course your movies and whatnot. Now, I know a lot of you will be asking yourselves, well, when it comes to just gameplay, like if I put the same game in both machines, does the Xbox One S look any better? I have been doing a lot of research, checking out blog sites and actually testing this out myself. And I'd be honest with you, the look and feel of the games are generally the same on both consoles. I just think because of the, you're using HDMI 2.0A versus the older 1.4 on the Xbox One, the frame rate is a bit better, obviously, on the Xbox One S. So I think the only difference would be a very small difference in improvements in the frame rate. But other than that, to the naked eye, I don't really see much of a difference. Now, it was recently announced at E3 that the Xbox One S can actually upscale games to 4K. From what I remember hearing, I believe that when you upscale to 4K, it's not done natively, but it can upscale games to 4K. So if you have a 1080p game, it can be upscaled to 4K via this platform. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Let's turn our attention to the controllers. So on the left we have our lovely looking white Xbox One S controller. You get one of these with the unit. And on the right we have our Xbox One, our good old friend here, the Xbox One controller. Now, of course, all the buttons are the same. Double shoulder buttons on the back, Xbox pairing button, and both of them pair. All the buttons are the same. So if you're familiar with the controller, you're getting the same buttons. A, B, X, Y, analog knobs in the same area. Everything's the same. Even the battery compartment in the back are the same as well. Right, so when you're changing your batteries out, they're pretty much the same. Here's the Xbox One S compartment here, standard. And I had a battery in my existing one. This is my Xbox One controller, and the compartment is the same, very much the same, right? So you're not getting anything new in terms of buttons and whatnot, right? The buttons are the same. Good. Now we have it out of the way. So what major differences do we have between the two? Well, this comes with Bluetooth support. And what's great about that is that you can pair this with a PC as well. So with this, apparently they say you can actually change the color of the covers. So I cannot wait to see what aftermarket covers you can get for the Xbox One S controller. So that's pretty cool. Now, one small thing to note, it may not be a big thing, but I noticed to me it is. The original Xbox One, the back here, the actual part, the grip is soft, it's smooth, right? Let me go closer, right? As you can see, it's a smooth plastic, right? Now, I guess they've taken feedback from us hardcore gamers over time that the new controller is actually textured. It actually has a rough feel to it, so there's more grip. And if you are like me and you are used to playing games for hours and hours and hours on end, um, the texture grip would actually feel much better with time in terms of grip. You actually get more grip. It doesn't slip out of your hands when your hands start to sweat. And personally, it feels like it kind of massages your hand too when you're playing. It actually helps. It feels more comfortable in my hand. With a hard piece of plastic like this, over time, this can actually be a bit overbearing to hold. It may sound weird when I say that, but if you're a hardcore gamer, you will know what I'm talking about. So the texture grip comes with the Xbox One S controller, so that's an improvement over the older one. Now the Xbox One S retails for about $299, and that's the 500 gigabyte version. The 1 terabyte version costs about $349, and the huge 2 terabyte version, which you're seeing here, retails for about $399, and this is all in US dollars. So if you like the HDR technology where you can get better contrast and a larger color palette, 4K streaming at 60 Hz, Bluetooth controller, the fact that it can stand vertically on a stand, and it has a built-in 4K Ultra HD Blu Ray player. If you like all those things, well, yeah, it's definitely a good buy. But my personal opinion, if you already have an Xbox One, if you're looking for a great difference in graphics quality, I mean, you're not going to see that, I don't think. But yeah, it's definitely a new and improved Xbox for sure. Hey everybody, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Now I'm going to ask you to do two things before you leave. One, there's a button right up here on the screen to my right here. Click on that and that will take you to our website, www.redtechbot.com. When you get on that site, there will be a button there where you can actually sign up for our newsletter. And when you do sign up for our newsletter by entering in your email address, you will automatically be entered into all of our tech giveaways. And by tech giveaways, these are some typical examples of what we will be giving away, and these are some examples. There's other stuff as well. And the good news is, you just have to enter your email address once, and it will automatically be entered into the pool every time we do a draw. And we will use that email address, of course, to contact the winner to tell them, hey, you've won something, and it's really cool. And of course, the newsletter will have updates on tech reviews, what's coming up new, what's coming up next, new stuff in the industry, and even information on future giveaways, right? So it's a really nice newsletter that we're going to be sending out. And one other thing is, on this side on the screen here, up here, on my left, you click on that and you will subscribe to the channel. Now by subscribing, of course, you will be at the forefront of any new things that are happening, any new videos that are coming out. And what I will also be doing is I'll be doing videos where I'll be talking about what we're going to be doing as a next giveaway, right? So you want to be subscribed, tuned in to that as well. So it's going to be a fun year and fun years to come as well. So yeah, that being said, you guys have a great day. Bye.